Welcome. So what we are going to talk about today is choosing an online business model that fits your life and it works for you. So really my goal with this training is to help you better understand what the various legitimate income opportunities are, kind of how they work, and ways that you can implement those strategies for yourself. And once you understand these tactics and concepts that I'm going to go over, my goal is that you'll have some kind of idea on how to implement them to generate an online income. Maybe one of these strategies will speak to you when I go over it, and you'll have a better idea of what you can do to create your own freedom. And we talk about traveling here. That's why it's called touring freedom. If you have that freedom to create an income on the road, that's what it's all about. You can't have the freedom without creating that income, and that's why I'm so intentional about talking about that a lot. So who is this for? It's those that want to be digital nomads. We're all traveling nomads, no matter if you're using an RV or flying around the world or in a sailboat, whatever the case may be. It's also just for those who want to make their own schedule. For those that, if you want the time to spend with your family, when you want to go out and do things, this is going to enable you to do that. It's those that want to build something of their own instead of working for somebody else. If you're tired of building somebody else's business and you want to start building your own, well, listen up. This is who we're talking to here. And it's also for those who aren't quite sure where to start. So this is kind of a beginner's training here. If you're more advanced than this, you're already started, you already got your business up and running, this may not be for you. It's not for those interested in work camping. And it's also not for those who want to work a remote job. Both of these scenarios are people who want to work for somebody else a set amount of hours for a set amount of pay. That's what those things are. What we're going to be talking about here today is the opposite of that. Okay, we're going to be working for ourselves. We're not going to have a set amount of pay. You're never going to really make it in life and get to what you consider wealthy until you detach your income from the time you spend on creating that income. And that's our goal here. So the first part of that, the first thing we're going to need to do is change your mindset around creating an income. Because if you're still thinking job, money, or time spent equals money, you'll never make it. What we're talking about is if you have a job, you do the job. You do the job, you get paid, right? Usually that involves working an hourly wage. Your time spent equals money earned. And that's what we're trying to get away from. So we're trying to break that connection in your mind of your job equals your pay. Because in normal circumstances, those two are directly connected. The job you do equals the pay you get. But in online business, it doesn't really work that way. It's kind of a process, and what you do may not equal what you make. Online income is not direct at all. Online, what you do will build an audience. Okay, instead of being direct to your income, there's that intermediary. What you do is meant to build your audience. And that audience, in turn, is what creates your income. Okay, so there is that intermediary step there, and that's really what you need to focus on, is building that audience, because that's where your money comes from. So if you're still thinking I'm doing this thing online and I should be getting paid to do this thing online. Well, it's not that direct. There's not that kind of relationship. So you need to focus on that audience instead of the money. Now, the good thing about this is the fact that once you do that job and create that audience, it doesn't just result in pay. It results in multiple streams of income. And we're going to go over those today. So you can have one thing that you do online to build an audience or multiple audiences, and then that translates into multiple streams of income from just one audience. The 4 streams of income and income sources that we're going to be talking about today are products. Now, these could be digital products, could be physical products. We're going to be going over both, but these are things that you sell to a consumer. It could be a service. It's something, something you do for someone. There's multiple different ways to do services. We're going to go over some options, but there's way more than I could probably go over in this. Also, affiliates. Now, affiliates kind of for some reason have got a bad name on the internet. I'm not quite sure why. We're going to go over exactly what affiliate means, how to do it, and why it's not such a bad thing. And the last one is ads. We're all familiar with ads, what ads are. We're going to go over different ways to implement those and what they could mean for your business. Just a quick word. If any of these topics get too deep for you, don't worry. I'm going to be going over these individual things in depth in future trainings. We're going to be diving more into each one of them. So don't worry if you're kind of intimidated by them right now. We'll hash each one of them out in future. So don't get overwhelmed with this information I'm going to be putting out today. My intention here is just to give a good overview of each business model without a bunch of clutter that the clutter would only muddy the waters at this point. We're just doing a high level overview. So the first one we're going to talk about is ads. And the reason we're talking about this one is everybody understands this one because we see it in everyday life. Whether it be print ads could be in the newspaper or in magazines, something like that. Commercials, we see these on TV and on the radio. Billboards, billboards are everywhere. I mean, us as full-time travelers, we see them all the time on the highways, and those they're ads. A lot of people kind of dismiss them and don't even see them on the highway, but they are ads. Now on the internet, it kind of directly translates, So these sidebar pics that you might see on a website, you see these more on a desktop than maybe on your mobile phone. But if you go to a website on your desktop, there'll be a sidebar over there, and they might have some pictures. Maybe they'll have some kind of GIF or something to call your attention to them and say, hey, grab this deal now. Well, those are kind of the billboards of the internet, right? Even billboards nowadays, a lot of times when you go to a major metropolitan area, those billboards flash, they move, they're LEDs now. Well, the same thing with these sidebar pics. They're kind of stationary. And you click on them, it takes you to another website. Now, video ads, they're just like commercials. You see these a lot on YouTube. Even social media is getting into them. Facebook and Instagram. All the social media is getting into Facebook or video ads nowadays. But even live reads on YouTube videos, I see a lot of people doing live reads on YouTube videos nowadays. Podcasts have live reads. These these have been around forever. I mean, if you look back on TV game shows from the 50s that, you know, and let me, this word from Geritol, and then they'll talk about Geritol right there in the game show. You know, back before they had a commercial break, they would just talk about the product right there in the show. And that's what a live read is. So sources of the revenue is a service. Now, these could be bookkeeping. There's a big demand for that, especially if you specialize in online business. Lots of people out there need their books kept, I guess is how you would say it. Basic accounting services. Graphic design. This is kind of getting to be a crowded area, but if you're good at it, you can really stand out. Audio video editing. This is another thing that you can do from the road. It doesn't take a lot of equipment to do, just a nice quality computer, and you're good to go. Coaching is another huge one, and it is considered a service. If you are coaching in any topic whatsoever, it's a good way to make a living on the road. And if you help other businesses with marketing services, whether that be SEO, email marketing, building websites fits into this. Now there's, like I mentioned a while ago, there's tons of different services that you could be providing on the road. I just scratched the surfaces. You could be a traveling photographer. Whatever the case may be, there's tons of services that you could be providing. So let's talk about some products. First of all, physical products. These are easiest to understand because you can see them, you can touch them, you can hold them in your hand. These are actual things that you have, actual physical, tangible assets, right? The thing is, they're hard to manage while you're on the road. One of the ways to do that is drop shipping. Now, what drop shipping is when your wholesale supplier actually holds the product for you until you sell it. And then when you sell it, you tell your wholesale supplier to go ahead and ship it directly to your customer for you. That could be in what's called a blind ship, where it has no branding on it whatsoever. But if you pay a little extra, a lot of times your wholesale supplier might actually brand the packaging in your branding to actually make it look like it's coming from you. So drop shipping is an easy physical product business model to run from the road. Now, a lot of people want to do the Etsy crafting type business. My wife did this for a long time. We did craft shows all around the country. Well, I say all around the country. We stayed on the East Coast because she wanted to go to the same shows all the time over and over. You build up a following, and I really dislike that because it restricts our travel. We're breaking out of that now, thank God, and we're branching out in our travels. But if you concentrate on the Etsy side of that, it's a little bit more manageable. If you grow up a following online, as we're going to be discussing later in this presentation, you can really direct people to both Etsy and your own personal website to kind of avoid some of those fees that Etsy imposes on you. So as long as your craft is manageable as far as size and you have a place to store it in your rig, this could be a decent way to go. Another great way to offer a physical product on the road is print on demand. It used to be only t-shirts and merch and stuff like that. This has really grown over the past few years. What this is you sell a product. Actually, the first step is create a design. I designed a product for Jeeps because we have Jeep. We love Jeeps. We're on our 4th Jeep now, I think, but we love Jeeps. So I designed a graphic with a Jeep that says, "Don't follow me, you won't make it," referring to Jeeps being on an off-road vehicle. Well, I now can put that on t-shirts, I can put it on stickers, I can put it on coffee mugs, I can put it on anything I want. So I designed a design, I can now upload to my supplier. Now the supplier, once I sell the product, can put it, they will actually print it on the product and then ship it to the customer for me. That's why it's called print on demand. And it's a very good business model for traveling full time. Now let's move into digital products. Now, while these are much more profitable, they're a little bit more difficult to kind of wrap your head around if you're new to the space. So what these could be is ebooks. So we're not talking a physical book, although there are ways now to do a physical book, print on demand. And it's a good idea a lot of times when you have an ebook to both offer the ebook and the print on demand version. But in ebooks, it's fully a digital product that you can sell over and over, and you don't need to, there's no cost in selling it again. With physical products, you're talking a cost each and every time. You have to, even with drop shipping or any of these other choices, there's costs of that good that you're selling. Digital products, they're infinitely replicatable, and there's no cost to it once you create it the initial time. It takes time to create it, but once you have it created, you can sell it multiple times. Another option is apps and software. Now, this is a little bit different than the other types of digital products that we'll discuss. Yes, once you create it, you can sell it multiple times, but there's a little bit of an upkeep with these because a lot of times there's going to be bugs, there's going to be customer support issues, there's going to be a lot of things there that you'll need to maintain that comes along with running a software. But it's still quite profitable as there's no cost of goods. Another thing that's very popular is video courses. Video courses is all the rage and quite popular. All it takes is a computer, a little bit of software so that you can maybe record your webcam or your screen, as I'm doing here. I'm sharing my screen. And then you upload it to the internet and sell it. And you can sell it over and over again. Now, another stream of income would be affiliate. Affiliate income it's an awesome income to have. As I mentioned before, a lot of people have a kind of a bad idea about this and kind of a negative, it has some kind of negative connotation, as though you would never be discussing this product if you didn't have an affiliate. I think I'm not really sure what the bad thing is, but the thing is, what affiliate revenue is, it's kind of like an ad where you talk about a product, but you don't get paid until that product is purchased. So if you don't make a sale, you're talking about that product for free. Now, this could be more lucrative for the advertiser and the creator, and that's because the advertiser doesn't have to pay you unless you make a sale. So they are guaranteed not to have that initial layout of revenue, funds. They don't have to actually pay you until they know they have income coming in. And because of that, it can be more lucrative for the content creator because since the advertiser knows that they don't have to pay until they're making money, they can actually offer the content creator more of a percentage of that sale. So that's how it's actually more lucrative of a relationship to both parties involved. Now, usually this traffic that's coming from your affiliate referral is tracked via a unique link, URL, that's assigned to you. And when a customer clicks on that URL, it either takes them to a specific page that's directly for you, or it puts a cookie on their device. Now, when that happens, the customer doesn't pay any more for the product. If you look at Amazon affiliate, that's probably the most popular, most well-known affiliate program out there. You'll never see that price rise just because you clicked on an affiliate link. And I think that's where a lot of the animosity comes in on affiliate marketing, is because I think people really assume that they're paying more. But in reality, that person's providing you a service by recommending a product. Even if the product's already been recommended and that person, maybe you're in a Facebook group and that person went through the trouble of actually going to Amazon, finding the product, grabbing the link for you and sticking it in the comments of Facebook, that they just provided you a service. Why not go ahead and click on their affiliate link and let them get a little piece of the pie? It's only a percent or two anyway. I mean, they're making pennies on it. Let them have it. I mean, they provided a service. Why not let them get paid? I'll never understand people's animosity towards affiliate links. I just don't get it. So now let's talk about piece number 2, growing the audience. Now you could see this as being your job online. You can kind of see how these two are detached from one another, because your income doesn't come directly from what you're doing. What you're doing is growing an audience, and your income is a product of that, coming from those 4 sources that we just discussed. Now it could be blogging. Now in blogging, blogging takes many forms. A lot of times it's vlogging. Now, that's a new thing that's come out. Podcasting kind of fits under blogging. At least it did in the old days. A lot of times nowadays it is a separate thing where people go on these podcasting apps and just listen to your podcast. A lot of, there's video podcasts now. There's also YouTube. So you could just be on YouTube building an audience. Just remember, when you're on YouTube, relying on them for your audience, you don't own that audience, and we'll discuss that later. But you can grow an audience on YouTube. That's where a lot of people are. And if you want to go there for your audience, that's great. Just when you're on YouTube, don't call what you're doing on YouTube a podcast. A podcast relies on an RSS feed being published. YouTube doesn't provide an RSS feed. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine, but YouTube vlog is not podcasting. That's something different. There's also social media. So if you want to be one of those social creators, I hate the word influencers, another pet peeve, but if you want to get on social media, do the little dance and point and do all that little sing-song stuff, you can grow an audience there. If that's your personality and that's what you excel at, more power to you. I can't do that sort of thing. I'm more apt to put out quality information in this kind of format. But all of these things have one thing in common. All of those ways to create an audience, grow an audience, have one thing in common. You don't really own those people, that audience, until you grow an email list. An email list is the most important thing that you can grow online. I don't care what anybody tells you. Technology has not advanced to the point where email is obsolete at this point. You have to have an email to open up a Facebook account. You have to have an email to open up any of these accounts that you're opening up on social media. So when people say, oh, I just rely on social media, you are falling down on the job. They could shut your account down at any time, and they don't even have to notify you. Until you get them on an email list, you're not going to succeed. So once they're on your email list, you can redirect them to your website. You can redirect them to the products that you're offering. You can the services that you would like to do for these people. All of that stuff. Even if you're on Etsy, Etsy falls into growing an audience. It's just like social media. When you're on Etsy, think of it as being on YouTube. When you're on YouTube, you can grow a following on there, but you better get them on an email list so that you can contact them later and direct them to your own website. So that is the idea here, is to actually get an audience that you own, not an audience that you are building on someone else's land. So, in summary, your job online could be a blogger, it could be a podcaster, it could be a YouTuber, it could be a social media personality, it could be whatever the case may be. You're doing something to grow your audience and create that audience and bring people to you. Now, that is related, but not directly proportional to your income. And your income could be ads, service, products, affiliate referrals, whatever the case may be there. If you're recommending products for affiliate referrals, that's where your income comes from. So you have to do your job to grow your audience, and your audience produces your income. It's not directly attached like it is in a regular job. So when people ask me, what business should I start online? Well, there's a lot of things that have to be discussed before then. What are your skill sets? Do you have something that you know that you could help people with? Are you in the IT business and you could help people get a certification? If so, well, then you need to sell digital products, focus on ebooks, video courses, something like that. Are you a musician and you can help people play the guitar? I take 2 different guitar lessons online, and it's a great business to teach people instruments online. That could be coaching. It could be a one-on-one thing, but it could be what both of mine are video courses. And coaching takes up more of your time, but the client pays more money. Whereas in video courses, the client pays less money, but you can sell it over and over again, which kind of makes up for the difference there. There's so many possibilities. I hope that what I've gone over here kind of helps you wrap your head around what you want to do. Do you enjoy writing? If so, be a blogger. Do you enjoy talking and you don't want to appear on camera? If so, be a podcaster. If you love, if you've got a big personality, you might want to focus either on YouTube or social media to grow your audience. So hopefully all of that makes sense. I will see y'all next time. Have a great day.